How's it going, everyone? Mitchen Chicken here. Today, I'm bringing you a slightly different way of playing Terapagos in the new Stellar Crown slash Surging Sparks format. And I say slash because this deck actually doesn't really rely on new cards, but I think that Tera Orb is kind of a nice new addition to it from Surging Sparks. But in the end of the Stellar Crown format, this actually started to see like a little bit of play, like kind of whispers of online tourneys and stuff like that. And then finally, for the last tournament of the set, we actually saw a similar concept do pretty well at LAIC, brought by a Brazilian group. And there's a slightly different to mine. I think it was a little bit more Charizard focused even. But the idea kind of came out in full force right at the end, and now we're going into the Surging Sparks format, and we do get a nice addition to it in the form of Tera Orb, because there's multiple different Tera Pokemon that are in this deck. So I'm going to go through the list and how I think we should be playing it in the Stellar Crown or Surging Sparks format now. And I'll talk to you guys all about the counts that I play, why I play all the cards. So yeah, let's get started. Starting off with the Terapagos. It is still a Terapagos deck. I decided to focus more on Terapagos, a little less of Charizard. But the idea of this deck is that you have the tricks that Terapagos brings. You can do things like big Dusknoir plays and find a lot of cards that you want with Noctowl early, because Terapagos is a Tera Pokemon, but it's a basic and it's low maintenance. You just need the attachment. You don't need to make a stage 2 for your main attacker. And then later on in the game, when like your opponent bumps your stadium, instead of needing to like rebuild a massive bench just to do 220, you would just make a Charizard and hit them for 300 damage, right? And we also have Radiant Charizard, which kind of just fills the slot that Blood Moon Ursaluna was in this deck. It's the same thing, except it's a one prizer and it attacks for fire, and we're playing fire energy, right? So it fits. So Terapagos, we're just playing two of them. Decks used to kind of play three, but we need the space, and it's also not our main attacker anymore. We still play things like Night Stretcher to recover, Heavy Ball to find out of the prizes, so two is perfectly fine. Then the Noctowl line, we're playing 3-3. We want to make sure we have a couple of those guys down at the start of the game and use Jewel Seeker throughout our turns to find all the cards we need. Could even play a fourth Hoothoot, but you'd have to find space. It kind of just depends how you want to play it. You could cut down on like the Dusclops, something like that, but I think 3-3 is pretty stable. Then 2-2 Pidgeot. This is a big difference from some lists. I know a lot of people have been playing like 1-1 recently. I'm personally a big Pidgeot fan in this deck. I feel like if you don't set up Pidgeot, then you're in a really bad spot. And if you're not playing a 2-2 Pidgeot line, and it's only 1-1, it's less consistent to get out, I feel like you almost have to play something like Colress or Energy Lotto to increase the odds you find your DTEs, especially since we're not even playing 4 in this deck anymore. And if we're just going to be playing a card like that anyways, I'd rather just make Pidgeot more consistently. So I'm personally still a much bigger fan of 2-2 Pidgeot in this deck than clearly other people are. They've all kind of been pivoting to 1-1, but personally I really like 2-2 still. Then we come to our star of the show, making this deck quite different. We're playing a 1-1 Charizard line. So I kind of did talk about this earlier already, but the idea of Charizard is late game, it scales up in damage, right? Burning Darkness starts to do a lot of damage. Terapagos only ever caps at 220, and to do that, you also need a full bench. In the later game, sometimes that can be kind of difficult once your opponent's bumped your stadium once or twice, and you're really down a lot of Pokemon. You need so much to be able to pull off these plays. But Zard still gets the advantages of Noctowl and Dusknoir that we're playing in this deck, but you don't need to set it up in the early game, so you have an easier attacker in Terapagos. And then it's a Tera Pokemon, so it maintains the Area Zero effect if you did want to have more Pokemon in play, even without a Terapagos in play. And you can still use things like Briar with it, and make all our, our big game closing plays with like Dusknoir, Briar at the end of the game, like Terapagos can, except you can also do more damage. And that's just pretty good. And then playing the Fire Energies and Infernal Rain accelerating them out also allows you to play Radzard instead of Blood Moon, which is, I think, also a slightly better card, because it's a one prizer. The 240 instead of 250 can maybe matter once in a while. It's pretty rare that it matters, but it's a slight bonus. But I think the big thing is that Radzard's a one prizer, right? So if our opponent's on two prizes left and we're not winning the game, we can go Radzard attack, which is significantly stronger one prize attack than anything this deck normally has access to. And then if they don't gust, they still can't win the game, right? They have to gust around the Radzard to win the game. Then we've got our Dusknoir line. It's starting to become thinner as the deck has evolved, and especially now with a Charizard in here as well. It needs to be pretty thin, but we do have two Duskulls. We want to be able to get those out, potentially two in play at the same time, just to open up the options. But then we're only playing one Dusclops and one Dusknoir, because we do have Night Stretchers to recover them. But we don't really have the space to play too thick of a line. And I do like playing the Dusclops, because a lot of the times you just need to kill one of your own guys to give your opponent a prize card even. You don't even need the damage, or you just need like small number fixing for like Charizard to hit like a prize or two higher than it would have hit at this current time. Like maybe it's doing 270, right? Because your opponent has three prizes left. and we just Dusclops. Now they have 2 prizes left. We're hitting 300, and we have 5 damage, so we can just OHKO 2 prize it, right? Something like that. So yeah, I like Dusclops for that reason. It also is a little bit less strain on your rare candies, because if you don't need the Dusknoir turn 2, you can evolve up to Dusclops and then go Dusknoir turn 3, so you can evolve slower to your Dusknoir. And once again, you can pull off the, like, I just need to Curse Blast something. I don't even need the damage just to do it. And once again, I don't need a rare candy to make the Dusknoir, right? It's lower maintenance. So that's why I like playing the Dusclops. And then, yeah, 1 Dusknoir as well. 2 Fan Rotoms. This guy's the star of the show in Terapagos turn 1. We just want to bench it, fan call for like Hoothoot, Noctowl, Pidgey, get all our guys set up, so then turn 2 we can just have a really fantastic turn. And we're never using really more than 1, but 2 is just for like prizing purposes mainly. And finally, Fezandipiti. Nice Pokemon to drop after our opponent takes the first knockout, and we can just use it to draw cards, string together massive combos alongside our Noctowl and our Pidgeot and all that. Then going on to supporters, they're pretty thin. They're all just kind of one-ofs. I do play 2 Iono just for consistency there, and we don't really want to discard our hands, so that's why I opted for like 2 Iono instead of a heavier research, since we're playing even more stage 2s and a little bit low recovery. So the Iono is just kind of like your main draw supporter, but you don't even have much of a main supporter in this deck. They're all very small counts, as you can see. From there, we just have 1 of supporters, 1 research, option to discard your whole hand and just draw a bunch of cards. We're just trying to rip through. Maybe our hand's small anyways, we don't care. And the reason we play 1 of supporters is because we have Noctowl and Pidgeot. We have so many ways of just finding them whenever we want, and this deck generally doesn't take too many turns to win the game. Like, we can often win the game turn 3, turn 4, very consistently. Briar, for the option for our Tera Pokemon to take an extra prize card. This kind of allows us to win in just 2 attacks. Like, turn 2, we take 2 prizes. Then the next turn, we Dusknoir something, and we Briar. And then, yeah, we've taken 4 prizes that turn. Dusknoir takes 1. Briar plus Knockout takes the other 3. Of course, our opponent needs to get down to 2 prizes, which is usually the reason that we can't actually win the game turn 3. It's usually just because we can't play Briar because our opponent's not that many prize cards taken, but it gives us the option and things like that. You can pull off the same kind of idea, win into attacks later. Like, maybe you get a slow start, your opponent's already taken a few prize cards. You get the idea. Then we've got a Turo, gives us option for mobility. It also lets us take our big guys off the board. Like, Charizard can actually tank a hit, and then maybe just Turo it off the board and invalidate that damage. Thorton to pull off some even more crazy plays, gives us another option. Because our Dusk line is kind of thin, maybe we don't have a Duskull on board, and our Charmander is just a one-of, maybe we don't have that guy in play. We want to just cheat it out into play immediately, surprise our opponent, get one of those evolving Pokemon in play without the basic having even been in play. And once again, another kind of like mobility option, sort of. If our opponent gusts up something useless like a Fan Rotom and wants to force us to waste a switching option or like attach retreat, we can just Thornton it into an attacker and then just attach and attack instead of, wasting resources. And finally, a boss for gusting options, because we want to be able to kill whatever we want, since we can do that pretty effectively. Then in the items, 4 rare candy, of course, since we have 3 stage 2s in this deck, we're never playing less than 4 rare candies. And as you can probably see, a ton of ball search and a ton of different options too. First off, for Nest Ball, most consistent thing, we just want to get basics down. This allows us to get any basic, 3 PAF because it lets us get multiple of our 70 HP Pokemon, 3 Ultra Ball as well, finding the more evolving Pokemon, or stage 2s, stage 1s, all that. Then we've also got multiple 1-ofs. Heavy Ball, because there's a lot of thin lines in this deck, a lot of 1-ofs. We want to be able to get stuff out of the prizes. The 1 Feather Ball combos really nicely with Noctowl, to be able to just Noctowl out for Feather Ball candy and make Pidgeot off a single Noctowl. And then the Tera Orb, similarly like the Feather Ball, it's like an Ultra Ball for our Tera Pokemon. Obviously, Terapagos can just be grabbed with a Nest Ball. The big advantage here is that it grabs Charizard without discarding cards. So you can go Noctowl for just Tera Orb and something else, and you don't need to discard cards out of your hand. You can just make a Charizard like that, like Candy Tera Orb, and there's your Zard. No discard needed. 2 Night Stretcher just to get back mainly Dusknoirs, sometimes Noctowls if we've used it already. Our opponent bumps our stadium, we discard the Noctowl, we get it back, put it on a new Hoothoot. And then a Pal Pad to recover our very thin supporter line. If we ever want to reuse one of them, then we have the option to do so. Lastly, just our gusting options additionally to the 1 boss. We've also got item-based gust, a counter catcher, which we can manipulate quite well, even aggressively, by using Dusknoirs and stuff like that. And then ace-back Prime Catcher, just really good. Lets us switch, which it can be pretty good because this deck doesn't have a ton of energy acceleration or mobility options. Prime Catcher is really the only item-based switching mechanism outside of just manually retreating, and that can be good if there's any non-attacker interactive, and then it also lets us aggressively target down a benched Pokemon on our opponent's side while playing a different supporter like Iono or Research or Briar to end the game. And then 3 Area 0, because we still need the stadium to make a big bench with Terapagos. We want the option. We don't want to just get rid of it completely, but we can drop down from 4. I know even straight Terapagos lists were often just playing 3. I liked 4 in the past, but now we definitely need the space, and we don't need the stadium as badly either. So 3 is fine. And our energies, cutting down from the 4 DTE just to make a little bit of space. 3 DTE, still plenty. You should be able to find them pretty easily. Quick search, researches, draw a Fez. You can still find them. I don't need the Energy Lotto or Colress's personally. You can play them if you want, if you're finding that you're less consistent with the DTEs, but in my experience, it's been pretty good. And then 3 Fires. This is slightly tight, seemingly, because our Charizard takes 2 and then our Radzard takes 1, but it is the perfect number, and we don't want to play too many Fire Energy in here because it is just 1 Charizard. You also have Night Stretchers to fix a little bit if you end up with a Fire in the discard, or like you use Charizard, it dies, your last Fire is prize, and you still want to use Radzard, you can get the Night Stretcher and get a Fire back. It's worked out pretty well. You do have to be careful with them. Don't be silly with them and just like discard them with research. And obviously, if like you have 2 of 3 in hand, it's kind of unlucky if you're trying to set up Charizard to make Radzard and Zard all at once. But generally, it's a fine number, and the deck's quite thin already, allowing us to make a lot of different plays. But you have to be careful with your resources, prize checking well, which is something I didn't do the best in game 2. But you'll see, even then, the deck's power level can be extremely high. So yeah, that's the deck. I think it's pretty cool. I think Charizard pairs really well with Terapagos, allowing for some nice synergy of really powerful low-to-the-ground plays early with Terapagos, not needing to make a Stage 2 attacker, and then in the later game, closing out with a massive Charizard hitting for big numbers and not even needing a big bench to support it. So we're going to jump into some games. I'll show you guys some decent games I thought showcased the concept well, and I hope you guys enjoyed. All right, we're jumping into our first game here, going first. Hand's looking pretty good start. I mean, the Zard sleeves might indicate our opponent's playing Zard. I don't know if we actually want to start. I think Pidgey's a safer start, just in case. Let's see what they flip over. Since we don't really want to give a 2-prizer to something like, Bolt, Moon, whatever they might actually be playing. Okay, it does look like it is Zard. They got a Mander and Duskull start. Okay, yeah, so we're pretty good here. We can pretty safely bench our Terapagos since this deck is not going to be killing it. And just protect ourselves from getting it Iono'd away. We'll go with a PAF in. We're going to grab Fan Rotom and Duskull. We could get Charmander now, to be honest, with that Nest Ball as well. Then we only have 1 spot for her Hootoots. Not sure if I want to do that. We don't need it immediately. I do think it's pretty good in this matchup. I think the Zard matchup's actually not the best for Terapagos. And I do think playing a Zard of our own does kind of improve it a little bit. But we'll go ahead and Fan Call, at least for a couple Hoothoot and a Noctowl. I think I'll save the Nest Ball until next turn, potentially. And then, yeah, we're looking pretty good here. We'll just pass it over to our opponent. Got Noctowl in hand for next turn. We can make Pidgeot. We can probably make Dusknoir 2 and attack. If they have a weak setup, we can really cripple them. Otherwise, yeah, we can just look to like punch something like a Charizard, not take prizes, so they can't take any 2-prize knockouts yet. And then later on, we can make a Charizard of our own, which can bring some more damage than we're normally able to output. Something like Okoing a Pidgeot without Dusknoir, stuff like that can be pretty good. So our opponent's got a pretty good setup as well. They probably going to charge. They got a couple Manders and their Pidgey. Now, it is possible for us to wipe them with Manders, assuming they don't have, like, Thornton, then they'd be in a tough spot. Candy top deck is really good as well. I think if Prime Catcher is in deck, we do just have it. Actually, we might even be able to just boss. So we're going to just Candy our Pidgeot there. I do need Dusknoir, actually. I forgot this is Dusclops in hand. So, let's see. We can start off with Noctowl and Jewel Seeker. So, yes, I would like to. Is Prime in it? Prime is in deck. We need Candy, Ultra Ball, and Prime Catcher, and DTE. So we need 4 pieces. We can only get 2 plus 1 off Quick Search. So we may need to Iono into one of them. I think we can go like Candy, Ultra Ball here for the Dusknoir, and then hope to Iono into a DTE. Seems okay. We can discard probably Nest Ball Clops off the Ultra Ball. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we'll Ultra Ball these two away. Grab Dusknoir. I wouldn't mind popping it now, actually. And, well, we Iono our opponent to one less card, which is potentially more impactful than us drawing one less card because they don't have much of a board set up yet. But at the same time, if I just Dusknoir Charmander, it's really pointless if we whiff the other one. Like, we'd much rather just Dusknoir Pidgey. So it's a kind of difficult call. Oh, we can also just draw into Noctowl. I think it's very likely we get it still off the Iono, to be honest. So I'm just going to go ahead and Curse Blast a Charmander on the bench. And then look to Prime Catcher the other one off this Iono. We should be able to find one of Ultra Ball, DTE, Prime Catcher, Noctowl. I think it's very likely. And we do see an extra card off the prize. So, yeah, and it's a Buddy Puffin, which we can just play now. And I think we want to get our Charmander, which will sit there for a bit. We could potentially get it next turn. So we'll play Iono. Our opponent's hand is huge, so I do like shrinking that down. And we do find DTE, we find Noctowl, we find Candy. We've got a lot of pieces, which is really nice. I don't even really need to use this Noctowl. I can just go quick search for Prime Catcher. So I think I'll just save it. We don't really need to overextend for no reason. And then next turn we can use it to get like Area 0 and whatever else. Poffins go wide, or we can make our Charizard. So let's grab our Prime Catcher off of quick search. And we'll grab that Charmander and knock it out with Unified Beatdown. So pretty good turn 2. Wipe our opponent of their main attacker. And now they have to probably just have the best hand ever, to be honest, to respond to that, because they need a Thorton play to even put a Charmander in play this turn to be able to make a Zard. But their hand is really small. They don't even have Pidgeot set up either. And you probably want to set up Pidgeot before you do that. So they do have Fez. They can flip the script into a much bigger hand. So we'll see. Their hand would still have to be really crazy. They'd have to have, like, all 4 pieces of Pidge and Zard, because then the quick search probably needs to find, like, Thornton. They also need to move the Duskull now, which can come in the way of Infernal Rain if they do pull that off. Or I guess just blowing it up if they got the pieces like that. Maybe they can gatekeep my Charmander from coming in play as well. Just hit me with the... Okay, they're bossing. Not sure if they're looking for a knockout here. Noctowl, yeah, probably just a stall play, which is not the worst. We have a easy way to move that. We can actually Turo this and reuse the Noctowl. Is one of the ways we can just get this out of the way, which is pretty good. They're grabbing Radzard. I wonder if they're just straight up giving up on Charmanders already. So they do just get the Radzard there. And yeah, so one cool thing here is, like, to extend to a 2-prize knockout would require Terapagos benching out. But because we just forced our opponent to take 1 prize with the Dusknoir, we can already just take, like, 2 prizes on Fez or Rotom with our Zard, which is pretty nice. I think I actually would kind of like to make the Zard. But, do we have all 3 energy in deck? I'm going to quick search before I do anything. I should probably check prizes a little more thoroughly. We do have 3 fire, so we can just retreat the Noctowl. I know I mentioned I wanted to Turo it, but we do need to boss if we want to kill a 2-prizer, which I kind of do. I think I do just want to boss Fez and knock that guy out. So I think we go quick search for boss and then make our Charizard. So we know Candy Zard, and then we can use Infernal Rain to retreat Noctowl. It's another little bonus with Charizard there. Sometimes you can use Infernal Rain just to move things a little bit cleaner. So yeah, we'll put 1 on Noctowl and set up our Zard as well to attack. Go retreat into Zard. Once again, we're like still not really overextending. We haven't put an Area 0 in play. We just use the ease of Terapagos to attack early, and then we pivot into a Charizard later. So yeah, we'll go Boss, Fez, and Burning Darkness. And then next turn, we can just use, like, Noctowl to Pal Pad and then quick search to get the boss back and boss Rotom for a game. And they can't bump our stadium to even try and limit our damage. We just blow them up with Zard. Now, what they can do is Defiance ban Burning Darkness, knock out our Charizard. But once again, they still didn't put a Charmander in play, so they need, like, Thornton and a bunch of stuff to do that. I think a Radzard play is more likely. Just, like, Gust Terapagos and kill it, maybe. Yep, that's probably exactly what they're doing. Fan Catcher Terapagos and just kill it with Radzard. Maybe they can get another Charmander down now if we don't just boss for game, which we should just have, assuming they don't disrupt us. Iono could be pretty good here. Maybe they have that as well. It'd be a pretty good play for them, just to make it a little less likely, because I think they should actually know that we're sitting on a Noctowl. I don't remember. I don't think my hand's actually changed since the fan call. Maybe they wouldn't know for a fact that we have another Noctowl in hand. So let's see what they go for. 8 cards still. Probably just thinking over what they can do. Could maybe even make Pidgeot here. They do decide to go for the Arven, so if their A-Spec is not unfair Stamp, we probably just have game. But it could be. I feel like Stamp is probably the most common A-Spec I've been seeing in Zard recently, so that could also be their angle. Get, like, Stamp Forest, commit the Forest to the Rotom and Stamp, and then you still have Alchemy for something. They're just going to get an Ultra Ball, so maybe making Pidgeot with this Arven. Go Ultra Ball Forest for Candy Pidge. Or maybe something more, because honestly the sequencing of Forest Ultra Ball to make a Stage 2 is usually kind of bad. You usually want to do the other way around, Candy Forest, so you don't have to lose cards. They also make the Dusclops. Not too relevant yet. But they play Cologne. It's kind of interesting. Probably for Cornerstones. There's the Pidge. And the Forest comes down. I wonder, is there something more to this play, or were they just making Candy Pidge and wanting to discard these cards? Because that's actually kind of fine sequencing, right? Like, instead of going Candy Pidge or Candy Forest with the Arven, so you don't have to discard cards, we get Ultra Ball, so we can discard cards because these cards are just completely dead, right? So that actually kind of makes sense. I like that for my opponent. And once again, still, if they play on Fair Stand, they also get them out of their hands so they don't redraw into them potentially. I'm not sure if that's going to be the A-Spec or not. We still haven't seen it. So we'll see. Opponent still has Quick Search open. But yeah, it's just a lengthy turn from them trying to avoid the inevitable boss Burning Darkness again. So yeah, it's really easy with Charizard just to pick off those liabilities. Because Terapagos does kind of need a lot just to be able to hit like basic Vs and EXs sometimes, right? So it's pretty nice to be able to just bonk things with Zard. So much easier. So it's much easier, especially if your opponent, yeah, you know, bumps your stadium and you lose all your bench. But yeah, they are just going to go Combustion Blast, knock out our Terapagos. We should just have it right here. I'll push the Charizard. And we can go Noctowl. Good thing that we saved that guy, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to do this if we had just overextended. So that's why you want to save your Noctowl until you actually need it. Grab Pal Pad. And then we'll Pal Pad back Boss. And we'll Quick Search Boss back out. And we'll grab that guy. And we're going to bring up the Rotom. And it's a nice easy bonk. Who cares about bench space? We don't need it. Burning Darkness for game. There we go. Really easy. You can see how the Terapagos allows you a nice quick play without needing to candy out an attacker. If we're also candying Dusknoir, right? That would not have been easy to do. We could not go candy Dusknoir, Pidgeot, and Zard if we're playing traditional Zard. But then we just pivot to it afterwards, and it's a really easy attacker and lower maintenance than Terapagos. Yeah, so pretty nice. We'll jump into another game and see if we can do some more Burning Darkness action. Jumping into our next game here, our opponent won the flip and made us go first, which is definitely something to use as an indicator. Unfortunately, I would have liked to play around that by starting a one-prizer, because it's pretty likely they're playing something like Bolt or Moon. They actually mulligan, so we'll see. So they are playing Moon with Secret Box, it looks like. We probably would have liked to start a one-prizer with the information that they gave us first, but it's fine. Our hand is still pretty good. I also like Zard in this matchup. It's pretty nice. Honestly, I think this matchup's pretty good for Terapagos in general. We actually get our Charmander to start. Oh, Great Tusk. Okay. Interesting. Could do a little bit of milling. I don't think that should matter too much as long as we're careful with our deck. So, we'll start off with a PAF in. We'll grab Fan Rotom and Hoothoot. Get those guys down. I don't really need Duskull immediately, I don't think. I kind of want Charmander down. Although maybe, in hindsight, Duskull's better. We could just Area 0, but I feel like it's pretty likely it gets bumped, so I don't want to go more than 5 bench Pokemon. We'll go Fan Call for Hoothoot Pidgey Noctowl. Just the average 3 Pokemon of Fan Call. And we do have another Noctowl in hand, so we could potentially use both of those next turn. So we'll bench those guys, and then Charmander. Because this is likely Ancient Box. So Zard is actually pretty good. It's really hard for them to reach these numbers. And I think that's fine. Yeah, we'll just pass it over to our opponent. I didn't look too thoroughly at the mulligans, but yeah, generally if they're playing Great Tusk, then it's probably actually Ancient Box, not the big Roaring Moon. Do play Petch still. Who knows? It could be a combination of both, really. I guess we'll find out shortly. Yeah, so the good thing about, like, Ancient type stuff for Terapagos is it's generally hard for them to one-shot you, and you have, like, Dusknoir things to take multiple knockouts, and then something like Moon in particular, it has to gouge you to knock out a Terapagos, which is just terrible, because they're, like, 10 damage off. But then they leave themselves with no HP, and you can go like Dusklops, kill that, and then gust another 2-prizer and also kill that. So, matchup's pretty good usually. They do have Petch and Squawk down, which means I'm actually thinking back to it actually being Big Moon, just with a Great Tusk in there. Or once again, like some combination of the two, like maybe a higher Ancient count Moon than normal, or we're just playing Great Tusk for a mill option. Who knows? Yeah, probably that's the case. It's just Big Moon with the option of a 1 Great Tusk to mill, which can be kind of interesting sometimes. I think it gives the deck a little bit more agency to make interesting plays. A little bit less linear than just kill things, and if you're going to lose the price rate, then you lose the game. You know, maybe you can hit some big mill. To be honest, they might hit a big mill on us right now. Okay, they don't attach to the Tusk. I was kind of worried about that. The mill could catch a bunch of candies or something before we've really done much, which would be really annoying. But it looks like they're more so just going for the angle of kill something with Moon immediately, which I probably should have got Duskull down, but I kind of misinterpreted what we were playing against by the Great Tusk start. But it's fine. We can still make this work. We can always get a Duskull down later, boss around this Moon, and then kill it later on. We can just use our Zard to potentially take like the Fez off the board. Would be pretty decent. So let's see. I mean, they still need to get the last energy on this guy as well. They do have one in discard, so they just have to find Dark Patch. Double Pal Pad off Pokestop, okay. It's not a patch. Maybe they whiffed. Not seeing it. They're probably just thinking over what to do. Yeah, I think they did whiff their Dark Patch, which is even better for us. Yeah. They did whiff, otherwise they had Petch to move it in the active, and they were rolling. Okay, so let's start playing our game. We're going to go Noctowl. I very often like to just go Noctowl for Candy Feathers, so this Noctowl just basically converts into a Pidgeot. Don't have any pieces in hand right now. Yeah, so we'll just do that. And we'll Feather Ball for the Pidge. We'll put that guy in play. And then I kind of would like to Area 0 to open up my bench to get Duskulls down. So I think we'll do that. I do not want to hit the Pokestop. I think it's very likely we just discard stuff that we don't want to discard. And so yeah, we'll go Noctowl. And we'll grab Poffin. Could also make Charizard, which is like not the worst idea. Would have to Prime Catcher. We don't kill anything. I don't know if we need to do that right now. I think we're fine to just get, like, Poffin. We don't need too much else, but I needed an extra piece because I want to guarantee DT off Quick Search. So, Jewel Seeker can get... Yeah, Poffin, and we could just sit on Tera Orb to make, like, Zard next turn. A little bit of an easier time. Or actually Candy, so that way we're flexible into going to Dusknoir or Charizard, I think is better. And then, yeah, we'll go Poffin out. One Duskull. Oh, our other Duskull's prize. I could have checked that. Then I actually think Heavy Ball would have been a good grab. But that's alright. Was it in deck? Yeah, it was. Okay, so we probably should have done that. We can get another Hoothoot instead. That's fine. And just, like, hold this Nest Ball, I guess. And we'll Quick Search for DTE. Taking the 1-prizer is, like, not the best, but we can fix the prize trade very easily later on, because they're going to have to gouge things if they want to take 2 prizes. So, yeah, we'll just grab DTE off Quick Search. Chuck that there. And then I could get another Terapagos out with Nest Ball, actually. I don't mind that idea. Or Fez, even. We actually prize the other Terapagos. Should probably prize check better than I do with this deck. It's usually a good idea. There are a lot of thin lines of stuff. I don't mind getting Fez, honestly. Oh, that gives him a Calamity Storm option. Nah, maybe not. Yeah, okay. Let's just get Ratsart, sure. I could have looked at prize a little better. But yeah, we'll just go Unified Beatdown for the knockout. and then see what they do. Yeah, I don't want to get Fez in hindsight because it gives them a 2-prizer that they can just Calamity Storm for knockout, which we really don't want to do. If they're taking 2 prizes, they're going Frenzied Gouging so I can Dusclops them. That is how you have to force them to play in this matchup. And then, yeah, you definitely don't want to give them value of, like, I take a 2-prizer without damaging myself, and I get rid of your Stadium. It's like, if they Frenzied Gouging, they also don't get to get rid of the Stadium for free. They have to put their own in play. Otherwise, we keep our bench. So, it's like a win-win for them to be able to Calamity Storm 2 prizes. We just want to avoid that. But I kind of just messed up with the prize check in there. I didn't prize check, which, don't follow my example. You should probably do that. Because there are a lot of guys, and, like, one-of supporters and thin Pokemon lines that can be prized, so want to know what you're doing, because this deck has a ton of different options, but you have to make sure you know what's available to you at all times. Otherwise, that one card in the prizes can definitely screw you up. So they get another Moon down, they flip the script, their hand's pretty huge. I am sure I'm getting knocked out here, but is it just an, straightforward Frenzy Gouging in the active? Are we going to do anything else? Bumping the Stadium would definitely be a bigger play for them at least, but they have a pretty easy discard option. Just go like Fan Rotom, double Noctowl. Those guys don't provide value anymore other than just bench sitters, so that's kind of fine to get rid of those. Oh, they do play E-Hammer, which was kind of interesting, but they did discard it earlier. I can't imagine them playing more than one. I feel like that's likely for the Lugia matchup or something like that. But that could have been kind of interesting if they maybe like Gust killed our Pidgeot and then E-Hammered our DTE. Would certainly be an interesting time. And I do have Night Stretcher in hand as well, so we could get back a Noctowl if we put in the discard, so we're almost pretty happy with them bumping our Stadium. And then Charizard can just do its thing since they've taken a couple prizes, right? And we don't really need the bench space anymore anyways. Let's see what they're going to go for. Double Moon's fully set up. Now, we could take both of them off the board with the Dusclops play. Unfortunately, I don't think we can win, because we can't get them down to 2 prizes, and Briar, and we took a 1-prize knockout initially. If we had taken a 2-prizer off the bat, like Squawk or Petch, then it would have been doable to just win this turn. But yeah, they just go for a Frenzied Gouging, which is perfectly fine with us. And they do go down to 4. They're going to go down to 3. We'd still need 2 energy on Radzard. So I don't know that we want to go for Radzard. You really can't go for Radzard plays that are more than just 1 energy with this deck. But I do think it's still just better than Blood Moon because it's a 1-prizer and we're playing Fire Energy. So I quite like it. But yeah, we'll just push Pidge for the free retreat. And we'll put Dusclops in play. We want to go for Counter Catcher probably. Okay, so we can go Night Stretcher for a Noctowl. Or Terapagos, even. I think Noctowl's fine. Then we can get Tera Orb. Oh! Oops! So, we probably should have put a Tera Pokemon in play before we Jewel Seeker. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is under control. I can still make this work. We will... I think we don't need Briar. Get rid of Briar and Thornton. We have Pal Pad in hand. Yeah, so we should probably have gotten that guy out first. And Candy, yeah. That's a good idea. I can't believe I did that. It's, yeah, average Terapagos gameplay. Yeah, we can put the extra energy on the Radzard, though, which is good. So we have it ready to go. And then I think we want to Cursed Blast before we Quick Search. This goes down to 3. We maybe wanted to Quick Search just Counter Catcher instead, because now it lets them push something we can't Counter Catcher. So we probably should have, like... Yeah, we probably should have Quick Search Counter Catcher. I wanted to see what I get off prizes before Quick Searching was why I did that, but... Yeah, it was probably always going to need to be for a Gust. We get another Terapagos, which is not bad. I do kind of want to put that in play. See what they push. It is Moon. So now we can just Quick Search. Think... could just Boss, honestly. That's actually fine. I haven't used a supporter for turn. It's probably better to just save the item. Although Counter Catcher is probably a dead card now because we're going down to 1, but... Yeah, sure. We can get Boss. And we'll bench Terapagos and Fan Rotom, because why not? We just have 5 bench space in case we get, like, hand disrupted. Boss their Moon. I really don't care if they have a big hand, because there's just no way for them to take 3 prizes, so we just want to be prepared to do whatever on our side, and we just guarantee win. I'll Pal Pad back Boss, and I don't think I'd ever need Thorton. I think just putting Boss back is fine in case we need to gust around anything. And then Burning Darkness for game. Or, not for game, but it's pretty locked up. I mean, they have a Charizard and a Radiant Charizard that can both kill any Pokemon for just a single prize. So, yeah, I misplayed like crazy this game, to be honest, but you can still see, like, we just don't care. The power level is just so high. And I do think Moon is a pretty good matchup, to be fair. But, yeah, like, Zard just sets up itself and Radzard. We have the early plays of Terapagos, lower maintenance, just kill something with a DTE and a basic. It's not a stage 2. We get to play our Noctowls and our Dusknoirs and all that stuff, and yeah, I think it just works pretty well. Even if you play badly like me, the deck's still just goated. So yeah, we'll see what our opponent cooks up with their 12 and probably even bigger hand in a second. They still flip the script, but I just don't think it even matters. We can just do whatever we want. Kill with either guy. We have quick search to move a liability if they just try and trap something. Yeah, it's just pretty locked up, I would say. Especially considering we only need 1 prize. Like, they can't even take a knockout with a Moon and hope we don't have Gust. It just, yeah, doesn't matter. Impressively, they do actually set up, like, 2 more attackers, maybe. After wiping 2 attackers, they get another 2 in play, which is pretty crazy. Just so much energy acceleration with this deck. Yeah, 14 card hand as well. They can do whatever they want, but unfortunately, the deck just doesn't play the tools themselves to take more than 2 prize cards in a turn. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. I guess that's why maybe they play something like Tusk, kind of interesting. Gives you a little bit more options in situations like this. Maybe they gust like my Terapagos and mill all the cards I need, and then they just trap me. That would be kind of crazy. I wouldn't have minded seeing that, to be honest. I would have happily taken the L to that, to them milling all my DTEs and Turo or something like that in those cards. Like, that would have just been insane. And Prime Catcher. I don't think there was enough cards in deck for them to, or I don't think Tusk even mills enough cards for them to do that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we could dream. I don't know. Some funny plays there. Anyways, I think this game is pretty wrapped up. Our opponent's just trying to find any line that they can possibly find, but it's pretty much it. Yeah, they're just gonna pass it over because they just don't got it like that. But yeah, that's the deck. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed. Comment what you think below. You know, avoid commenting about my terrible plays in this game because it didn't matter. We still won. The deck's broken. Yeah, and any thoughts on the deck? Subscribe for more videos, and catch you on the next one. Later.